Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Capandball here, your favorite gun channel in beautiful bright English language. And today I have a very special topic for you because we arrived to the last phase of the Uberti versus Pietta series, which means that today we will see whether the Pietta 1861 Navy or the Uberti's 1861 Navy is more accurate at 25 meters. Now this will be a very interesting topic. But before we go on, please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. That's most important to help us grow. We are also present on the History of Weapons and War platform, and if you want to receive frequently exclusive content from me, then please be our supporter at patreon.com/capandball, because that's important for us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so what we are going to do today, and why I stripped these pistols from their grip panels, is because I'm going to set them in a ransom rest, which means that we are going to eliminate all the human errors. I have developed for both pistols a very accurate load, a competition grade load. Now you have already seen how I developed the charge for the Uberti repro, and you have seen what it is capable of, which is quite excellent, but you have not seen how I developed the charge for the Pietta repro. This one has a very accurate load as well. It needs a bit more powder. It took some time to find the right charge, because the ones that I received from fellow shooters were usually not delivering that kind of tight group that I really like from percussion revolvers like this. So ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me show you a few steps from the development of the charge for the Pietta. The first charge was based on 15 grains of 3F Swiss powder. So this is 15 grains of 3F Swiss powder, 11 grains of corn wet, semolina, and 375 round ball with chariot lube, all measured by weight, which means that the powder is controlled on a scale and also the bullet is controlled on a scale, so there can be no differences between the charges. We have 3 shots in a size of a 10 ring and another 3 shots here down, which corresponds to around, let's say, a 9 ring, a little smaller than the 9 ring. The second charge is 11 grains of 3F Swiss powder. Well, it didn't improve too much, so reducing the charge opened up the group a bit, not too much but a bit. We have 4 shots in the size of a 10 ring, which is quite good. This is very good, but we have 2 flyers, which means that we arrived to a group size of the 9 ring. So this was 11 grains of 3F Swiss powder, 15 grains of semolina, 375 pure lead round ball and chariot lube. Everything is controlled by the scale also. RVS The third charge is the same that I used for the Uberti 1861 Navy, meaning 8.5 grains of 4F Swiss powder. And this round is for showing you that there are no such thing as a universal percussion revolver 36 caliber load, because I was just using the same charge that I used for the Uberti 1861 Navy. You remember that it delivered a group with probably less than the 10, much less than the 10 ring. But with the Pietta, the same charge is not working the same way. You can see that it is, let's say, the size of a 9 ring. We have some good shots here also in the size of a 10, but it's a bit larger. It's a bit larger. Still a good group, I have to say, at 25 meters. But this shows that there is no universal 36 caliber percussion revolver load. You have to find your own. You have to find your own. The last charge is based on 18 grains of 3F Swiss powder. Gem. This is the last group for today, ladies and gentlemen, and probably this is the best one. This was 18 grains of 3F Swiss powder plus around 9 grains of semolina, a 375 pure lead round ball, and the chariot lube. And look at that, 5 shots are within the size of the 10 ring, which means that the pistol is accurate with 18 grains of 3F powder. We have a flyer here. Everything was controlled by weight and everything was really measured, which means that there could not be differences between the loading. But still, this happens. There can be a flyer. But otherwise, the 5-shot group is good, which means that you do not have any excuse, whether you buy a Pietta or Uberti, that you don't shoot accurately. The question is, do you find the right load for your revolver? For the Pietta revolver, you need a higher charge, double the charge as in case of the Uberti to shoot straight, but it can shoot straight. So this is 18 grains of 3F Swiss powder, which is good, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have excuse. You have to learn how to shoot. That's more important than the brand that you choose. So now it is time for the duel. Now it is time to see which one is more accurate. But before we go on, let me share a few thoughts about these two makers, because they are with us for more than half a century now, and they are delivering affordable and good pieces for reenactors and for target shooters as well, which is a very good thing, because I really have to say that probably 99% of us started our black powder shooting career with owning a revolver, even if it is not convenient and it's not logic as a first pistol. It still has that kind of romantic Western and a 19th century feel that we all like. So we can be very happy that we have two makers that are actually competitive against each other, but still it is a very good thing that you can choose from two, from such a small niche market. I really have to say that I have been working with these revolvers for around 1.5 months now, or probably a bit more. And I've shot many shots with them, from the hand and also from the Ransom rest. And I really have to say that I'm satisfied with both. I have my preferences, of course, because the Uberti is a bit more historically accurate. But I cannot say to you that the Pietta is a bad gun. It is actually a good pistol. It is actually a good pistol. So all in all, before we go on to this last duel, I can tell you that if you could not find the center of your target with your Pietta or with your Uberti, it is not the problem of the pistol. And these pistols are out of box, so no, the chambers are not reamed, the bore is not relined, the action is not fine-tuned, so this is as you receive it from the factory. Now let me talk a bit about the principles for these tests. So first of all, we are going to start with clean bores. I'm going to measure the group of the first 6 shots, which means that that we are not going to shoot a second 6 shots, because I want to see how these revolvers are performing with a clean bore, which is probably not perfect for the ransom rest, because the ransom rest needs, let's say, 6, 8, 10 shots to help the pistol to settle in the grip panels, which can reduce a bit the accuracy of these pistols. But still, this is why I removed the panels, because without the panels, without the wooden grip panels, they fit much better into the grip inserts. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start with the clean bore. While I'm shooting, I'm not going to touch the pistols. The only thing that I will do is remove the remains of the caps if I see that they can fall into the action, which can happen on Colt revolvers. And it is even more serious if you shoot the pistols in a ransom rest, because if you shoot it from the hand, then you have a chance to turn the pistol 90 degrees and cock it like that, so the spent percussion cap remains will fall out. Now you cannot do that on a ransom rest. But anyway, I think this will be a very fair comparison for the two. Let's start shooting. Let's mount the revolver in the ransom rest. I remove the grip panels because it will entirely fit then the recess on the grip insert. You can see how accurate that fit is. Look at that. Move it into position. When you use a ransom rest, it is very important that the table that you mount the rest on is not moving. Second, you have the fitting grip panel inserts. Third, it must fit into the recess perfectly. And you must not over-tighten the system. You must not over-tighten the system. It's not in place. Now it's in place. So which means you tighten the screws with 2 fingers. And you apply the same force on each of the screws. Seems good. Let's start with the Uberti reproduction. The charge is 8.5 grains of 4F Swiss power, measured by volume, controlled on scale. I removed the cylinder for loading to be able to use a loading press, so I can apply the same force each time on the bullet when I'm pressing it into the chambers. The rest of the charge is 18 grains of semolina, a 375 pure lead round ball, measured by weight, and Chariot's revolver lube. And this is the 25-meter group of the Uberti, ladies and gentlemen. We have 5 shots in the same group, same hole, and we have only 1 flyer here, but everything is well within the size of the 10 ring, which means that the revolver is accurate and the ransom rest is doing what it has to do. It is a very light powder charge, which means that you can shoot all day. From a box of powder, you can shoot 2,000 shots, which is quite good. So it is a good revolver. Let's check the Pietta. And now it is time for the Pietta repro. The charge is 18 grains of 3F Swiss powder, 11 grains of semolina, a 375 pure lead round ball, controlled by scale, and Chariot's lube. And this is the final group of the Pietta, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to say that it is also an excellent gun, which means that at 25 meters you can shoot as many 10s as you want. The group is a bit larger than in case of the Uberti, but just a very little larger, which means that 5 shots are in the size of the 10 ring, and only this one at the bottom is a bit out, but with a few millimeters, so it does not really count, which means that both guns are good. So if you cannot find the center of your target with an Uberti or with a Pietta revolver, then the problem is you and not the revolver, not the iron. The Pietta needs a higher powder charge, that's for sure, but it is interesting to see that the difference between the chamber size and the bore size, and also the groove-to-groove diameter of the bore, does not really mean nothing. So which means that you can still find your charge, you can still shoot accurately with that revolver if it is sizing your bullets too small. Why? Because the high powder charge will upset that bullet in the forcing cone. So which means that both pistols are capable of excellent scores. So I think that was interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I really think that with both of the pistols you can shoot scores that can win a world championship, which means that they can constantly shoot within the 10 ring, and that is what we need, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are human, so we make errors, but still these pistols can do the job, and that is very important, because regardless whether you have a Pietta or you have an Uberti, you can be on the top of the podium, ladies and gentlemen. You can be on the top of the podium, which is very important and very interesting, because these guns are actually cheap. So if you consider that for 300, 400, 500 euros you can buy a pistol like this, and you can compete on a world championship, well, that is something that very few shooting sports can do. So we have to be thankful for these two makers. So Pietta and Uberti, thank you very much for making these percussion revolvers for us. Thank you. I also fired some control groups with the same charge with the Pietta repro, and was happy to see that the pistol is delivering nearly the same groups. The tightest group was 45 mm center to center, meaning that all shots were within the size of the 10 ring. I'm pretty sure that this group can still be improved, so if you find a better charge, please do not hesitate to share it with me. And here are the control groups of the Uberti repro that did just a bit better. The finest group was the first I shot, that delivered 21 mm group center to center. The control groups were just as good. No shots missed the size of the 10 ring at 25 meters. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to the Capandball YouTube channel. If you like what I do, then please support us on patreon.com/capandball. Here you will find exclusive content from me. We are also present on the History of Weapons and War platform, which is an excellent hiding place for gun nuts like us. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel, because we need you. I have to grow on YouTube, because YouTube is really offensive on gun-related content. So ladies and gentlemen, up until next time, stay cool and keep your powder dry.